This should be working. Perfect. I cannot give you any financial advice, TK. All I'll say is I am not holding any Nike. I don't have Nike, and I'm looking for an entry from lower. Now, how much lower that's going to be, I don't know. I had some options which I put back on the chart, and let's have a look whether this earnings volatility can maybe bring us closer to some of these levels. So let me go to extended trading hours and to the 15 minutes. It's been crazy up, down, up, down. Well, what I think is important for Nike, right, is the fact that we have, and I'll point your attention to a level here for Nike. Um, let's see. So previously we had this quote support from the low that was made back in September of 2023, so 88.66. That bounce brought us to a level at 123.39. Ultimately, that's a lower high than where we've been coming from. So I don't think that a buy of Nike at 88.66 from a couple of weeks ago when we reached that level again is probably not going to give a bounce back up all the way to 123, at least from here, is what I'm primarily thinking. So once again, I'm going to keep a couple of levels on my radar here, and let's see if we can get anywhere near on a lower time frame. 99.34 is the level to get back above, at least with a weekly close. But let's go back to the 5 minute here. And again, I'm not here to really go over the numbers itself, rather to just go over price action and figure out where is this going to open tomorrow and where do I want to do some business. So I also mentioned Nike to Duck for $500 account challenge that he has going. And I'm looking at entries from lower down. That's very simple. Alternatively, I'm looking at the very least, a weekly candle to close above 99.34 and then on a pullback to enter long something along the lines of what's drawn out there. Um, I see Geo joining up as well. Welcome, man. I'll also go to Earnings Whisper and see if anything else also has earnings at the moment. But the main purpose is to look at Nike. Um, I see quite a lot of things that had earnings earlier today, but after hours there's not a lot. There's some other things though. So let's maybe put in a second chart as well and go over. Let's see. ACCD, for example. Never looked at this. Accolade is supposed to have their earnings as well right now, which I want to put that as its second chart for us to look at. What's up, Nikki? So let's go to the lower time frames here as well for Accolade, maybe after marking out a level of interest to play from. So 461, maybe if we get something along those lines on a lower time frame, where we get below 461, pick up stop losses, and then get back above that level. That is something that I might be interested in. I do want to verify whether they're also really having their earnings, which it seems like they aren't or they have. Let's go to extended trading hours. So this is coming down, and like I said, I'm gonna look at maybe coming back all the way down to 461. So going on a higher time frame on the weekly tells me, right, that this is in a bigger downtrend and that I'm interested after getting below 461 and then seeing some strength by getting back above. So this whole move down here that's potentially very interesting to me. So I want to make sure to put ACCD on my watch list. And also to put an alert at the 461 level for this thing. Simple. Ike seems to not have that much going on so far. See for a second. Let's go to the 5 minute, verify for a moment. to myself, this ACCD, that might become interesting tomorrow, especially during the 10 to 11 a.m. hour. So looks like we've closed this. If I go to the daily here for a moment, this is today. Looks like we've closed at 640 and we're coming down significantly upon their earnings here. So even though Nike is the bigger name, I'm more interested in what is going to provide me with some volatility. So really, this is what I'm looking at. Um, that could be a very good setup for Accolade, actually. Let me go back to the weekly for a moment, because if this thing is going to drop lower, right, I also want to have an idea of where to look lower down. So let me just get some more levels for us in case 461 is not going to provide us with a bounce yet. So 323 is also a level that is fit to my system, and then 276 as well. And the idea is very simple. I'm also going to add in one more thing, a level at 6.78. This is my 705 FIP, so 678. Let's get these levels in there. So those are the levels that I want to play from. Something like a move back from this level into this level, that's a 45% move, or from a level lower down into the level above it, that's also a 42% move, or from the all the way down that level all the way down there into the next level, that's a 57% move up. So this looks well, bearish to me, with the potential of this being a reaccumulation range or just simply waiting before we go lower down. So 323 is another level which I can just give you all as interesting to play from, and 206 as well. Not sure what is going on with Nike. They're not really showing me any price action. It is all too interesting. But this thing, however, is. So we can just go with whatever is going to provide a good setup. I don't know what the earnings are. I have no clue what this company does. All I know is that I'm down for a move about 40%, especially if we can prepare for that nicely in advance. Uh, yeah, exactly, Porterhouse. I know, right? But everybody thinking, well, Nike. It's always good, and just what I'm checking here, I can maybe add that in, is very simply this link tells me that Nike has earnings right now, and so everything with a little moon is after hours. So DLNG, PNST, all of these little unknown tickers, right? You can look at these things as essentially your altcoins in the equity market, some higher risk things, which, well, all depends, of course, on how you're preparing for it. So let's maybe go and put in a third chart as well. We have Nike, we have ACCD, DLNG. Let's see if we can find some levels for that as well. And I'm not sure why this now gives me a different background. That's odd. Let's put this a little bit different. Let's check that ticker again. So that's DLNG. Let's have a look. Looks like something with a lot of holes in it. Let's see on the weekly what this is doing. Even on the monthly, because this has been trading for a while, or even on the quarterly, because this has been really trading for a while. Also looks interesting to me, to be honest. I'm going to mark out some levels. So this looks like a stronger candidate for a chart that is maybe already bottomed out. I would think that upside to 450 could be on the cards for this. And then maybe at some point in time, well, we go higher. There's going to be something in the middle there as well, but for now we can go with this. I also want to mark out the high of last week for DLNG, and also immediately want to put that on my watch list. So to be honest, while I'm was prepared for Nike and am prepared for Nike, I'm actually more interested in these lesser known tickers that could provide us with some activity as well. Let's go to the 5-minute time frame now and kind of see where we're coming into. So 449, 319, and everything in the middle here seems to be very, very illiquid nonetheless. Might be interested to keep it on my watch list. Not all the volatility on this, so really volatility is lacking today, except for I guess on Accolade, which I wouldn't be interested from here yet. Let's see. Oh, maybe our call is at 5 p.m., but releasing info before. I really wouldn't know, to be honest, on Nike. All I know is that I was scheduled for a stream to look at Nike earnings after hours, which is now. But I guess what could be more interesting here is to kind of take note for these other options, especially Accolade there, coming into 461, 323, or 206, and then seeing a reversal from there. Always the same kind of an entry pattern. Getting below the level, getting back above, holding it, and then getting back above it and going back up. That's the most interesting thing to me here. Let's see if Nike can get anything going. Let's maybe put in the volume here as well. Not that it's that terribly important actually, but interesting nonetheless. Seems to be not a lot going on there so far. What else did have their earnings? So DLNG is interesting. What I don't really like about this chart is just that it gaps all the time, even on the lower time frame. That means it's very illiquid and well, it's less reliable. Also, if you're going to trade this with any kind of size, it's unlikely that you get as good of a fill as on something that at least has some more solid candlesticks to it. Let's see. PNST, that is another thing that is supposedly has their earnings right now. So let's maybe look at that as well. What is this even? PLNST. PNST, that's right, PNST. Pinstripes. What is this about? My God, this looks interesting as well. Pinstripes, at least on the monthly time frame. So it looks like last month we came down, made another lower low at 254. And this month we came to that level again. Also, I'm noticing Accolade is really, if that is going to provide such a nice big move down, I guess by tomorrow or sometime next week, we're going to see a mean reversion play back up. So it's just a matter of letting it nuke however far it wants to go and then looking for a bullish confirmation, which is seeing strength above one of the levels after first getting below it. I want to take a look at this pinstripes thing as well. So, well, I might want to mark out 426. I guess that's now the bottom of a bigger gap that we've got going. Let's maybe go to the daily for a moment and then to the lower time frames. Maybe the 5 minutes. Also doesn't really seem like it has that much volatility right now. So really Accolade so far seems like the thing that has, well, the sexiest price action off of the close, down 25% here. Now, just because it's down 25%, I'm just going to say that again, does not make it a good buy because you can say, well, it's down 25%, it has to bounce here, but what if it continues down another 25% and then it's down 50%? That is there comes in some volatility for Nike now all of a sudden. Let's see if it can get above at the very least 99.34. That could be incredibly interesting, but as always, got to be very careful with these initial moves because this might very well now come down all the way. So I would say at this point, if it gets back below 93.5, that would be a cause of concern. And what would be bullish to see, I guess, well, at the end of the week would be closing above 99.34 again. So good that we were sticking around here for Nike. This is very, very interesting. Of course, it's highly untradeable after hours, in my opinion, but nonetheless, I'm interested in this. Those are some of the candlesticks that we're all waiting for, and sometimes it takes a while. So I guess it took 15 minutes after the close for something to be set there. And there we go. So that's getting below 93.5 here, right? Again, we can get back above it immediately. That would be just creating a candle with big wicks, but it at the very least suggests that like I said, once again, I would be looking from lower, and until at the very, very least, we're gonna close a weekly above 99.34. But this to me looks like an initial move to the upside, and you're probably gonna see a bigger candlestick at the very, very least, reaching 88.66. That's really what I'm thinking so far. Just seeing that, like the moment to moment candlestick unfold, right? Now that is nothing to do anything from so far, right? I am looking to essentially get on board of a play only at this stage of such an entry pattern showing. So not on the way down anyways. As always, very, very interesting, and also a good amount of volume now all of a sudden kicking in. So 188,000 shares at a market price of about, let's say, 95. There we go. That's going to be just the first level of interest. So like I said, I'm personally looking, for example, below 82 to 22, and then seeing this exact squiggly line scenario, but from lower. So that is really a cause of concern, the fact that you immediately pump, get smashed back down, and you're very, very close to at the very least coming into that first level. This is actually my preferred scenario because I would rather buy this from lower than from higher. So I'm bullish, but I'm not in this, and I would. And Porter said, "Well, there goes 5." Let's see. So 88.63, and immediately, right? I'm not saying this is now well, the bounce that takes is higher, but just notice how price comes to my level and immediately, like within the microsecond after tapping that level, is reacting to the upside. Again, not saying this is now the bottom, but it proves that the levels that essentially I'm looking at are levels of, well, they're predisposed to do something, and shock content, but it's not because investors are now coming in to buy or sell these things. It's very much an algorithmic liquidity game and nothing else. Let's see. What's up, everybody? Also in the chat, I'll only see now that there's people on YouTube as well. So just into looking at these charts, I'm very interested in some of the things that I'm seeing. Mostly this accolade thing, to be honest. Down 25%, if this can give me a move into one of these levels lower down. I guess pinstripe is actually something that at this point we can skip. Less interesting than the other things that we're seeing here. Farouk, you say it got hit at 88.57, so maybe on Webull, if I go to Webull here for a moment, it did go to another point, 88.55. Yeah, I would very well. I think Amy in the YouTube chat. I'm looking from lower down, right, from one of these levels, as low as it wants to go. So if by tomorrow we could see something like this below 82.22, maybe get back above somewhere between 10 and 11 a.m., that would already make it a potentially an interesting play back up into the high 80s. So we'll see. But at the very least for now, 88.66 is the first thing what we gotta break before being able to go lower. Getting some inappropriateness here in the Discord chat. You hate to see it, Farouk, man. So we have AOUT. I will also just, for variety's sake, put something else in here. AOUT. might become interesting. Oh, there we go. This is actually something that is up after the close. What is this thing? That actually also doesn't look too bad. So I'm just gonna let Nike do its thing here for a little bit. Again, I'm not here to trade after hours, rather to see better opportunities or more confirmed opportunities during regular trading hours. But this American brand thing also does not look bad to me. Actually, looks worthy to put on my watch list. I guess this very well could see some upside above $10, which again, there's no guarantees here. I do want to mark out some levels, 835. Let's go to the daily, and then let's go after hours. Big gaps though, so definitely something we want to be careful with, but I want to keep this on my radar as well. Main watches, of course, Accolade and Nike. It's a very interesting reaction so far from 88.66, but as I said, it it's not. It's really the most aggressive of my levels lower down, so it's not something to immediately do something from. That is sexy indeed, Porterhouse. It's always nice to see. And then this 5-minute candlestick, make sure to get even just a blip below the low of the last 5 minutes, and exactly the moment it does that, it reacts back to the upside. What would be, for example, now like somewhat bullish is getting back above 93.5, holding there, and then rerunning that wick and closing the end of the week above 99. That would be something to keep in mind, but this is not yet enough. It jumped off the plank. Yes, exactly. Let's see, what are you showing in the chat? Nike. And a stocks buddy signal that was flashing bearish. Um, there's a wick. Let's see. I actually don't, Farouk. I don't. I don't think so. It's possible though. I want to keep it in mind. Um, no problem at all, man. Accolade also is really, really close to already coming to 461. So that is really something that I want to keep in mind. This thing has been trading for a very long time, actually. And for the pattern traders among us, that looks like an obvious shoulder, head, another shoulder before coming down lower. And well, getting to at least already the liquidity below the April 2022 low, that's interesting to me. So that's a nice move lower down. Very interested to play that back above the fives and get something out of this. Good. Let's maybe stick around for 10, max 15 more minutes, and we'll go from there. So just want to be prepared mainly for what to do tomorrow going forward, and then specifically between 10 and 11 a.m. This American outdoor brands, I'm also going to give this another look. It looks to me like this is, again, I'm not drawing this nicely here, of course, but this is a compression which leads to expansion. And from what I'm seeing, there is at least a case to be made to run that back into that red box to trade it to the high 11s. Now, I want to see clearly and during your regular trading hours that we can take out, I would say 950 and hold above 950 for that move into 11, 12. And that is loosely drawn, but what I'm going to be watching tomorrow. Interesting, good. I'm very happy to actually come across these other after-hour stickers, which I've never really looked at before, but they deserve a place on the watch list. So I hope that that gives some ideas also to you all. Good. It's getting dark here. I should put my lights on, but we won't keep it too long here. Immediately, volume is also coming down, so it would not surprise me to see Nike just kind of going a little bit sideways on top of this 88.66 level, which, well, it is a very accurate bounce point, at least for now, and something to keep in mind for tomorrow as well. You were so accurate. Well, that's what we aim for, sir. Accuracy and conviction. And just a setup that makes sense and just realistic position sizing and keeping it as simple as we can. Good. I want to make sure that everything's on my watch list that we've been looking at today. So AOUT, I need to add that still. I'm gonna put a line there for that AOUT at 950 and tomorrow see if we can get and hold above it. Nike losing that 88.66 level really means that you might see a teleportation a few dollars lower down. If it holds it, and so for now we're still holding it, but if that level changes character, it's going to turn into just as strong of a resistance level and very likely getting a rejection from there. So let's put 950 on this chart for AOUT. Oh, right. Put an alert on that. Crossing up. Good. All right. Looks like this, if I click on earnings here for Accolade, something is coming in. Looks like a positive surprise with price action nuking down lower into some levels of interest. So this could really be something on a golden platter that is given over the next few days or weeks. Very interesting. Very, very interesting. So that move into almost 99 there for Nike was extremely short-lived, right? Making sure that everybody short there on too much leverage gets taken out and is not a part of the move down lower, while also simultaneously getting people excited before it's really time yet. Yeah, that's the thing, Farouk, with these after hours earning streams. I actually get across and put a lot of these stickers like AOUT then all of a sudden on my watch list. Like, want to take a look at this again. So 950 there. Weird candlesticks as well, but the idea is simple. From 950 into 1180. That is the upside move that I'm looking at, 24%. Yeah, doing some after hours work like this is actually very useful. It saves actually a ton of time knowing what to look at. Over time, you also create a bigger watch list, and it's very easy to then filter through change percentage and see on a day-to-day basis what is really performing. Things that have been standing out to me here is Rivian, of course. Looking at this, had a very nice move. For the rest, not really all that much. Farouk, we're not just waiting with me. I'm guessing this already happened, but we're never here for the earnings numbers, just here for the price action. So whatever reason this price wants to find to give a setup is good for me, but we're not going to stick around here for too much longer, just 5 minutes or so, seeing if Nike can maybe break the support level. That's something I want to be aware of, but then I'm going to call it the day because it's getting quite late here and I'm anyways just going to do my business during regular trading hours, either tomorrow or next week, as per usual. So I'm not waiting on any particular reports. That's not why I'm here. Uh, I'm just here to draw scenarios on charts and look at some levels. That's the thing. That being said, thank you all for joining in this live stream after hours. I hope this gives maybe some ideas of what could become relevant. I think I will already just end the StreamYard recording. Thank you everybody for joining in the YouTube section. We'll see you in the Discord tomorrow, next week, whenever it is. And I'll stick around here in the Discord for a little bit longer.